Hey guys, and welcome to a showdown between two fearsome foes. On the left-hand side, the scariest animal to walk the world, the mighty the Platypus, up against RTK's Maker, and it's certainly going to be a battle of the evil forces. The scheming and chattering Skaven do take to the field up against the undeadly horrors, which is the Vampire Pirates. It should be a good fun game all round, and I'm a massive fan of this Skaven force, but before we do hop into it, this game was taken from Anticity's ladder tournament. There'll be a link down below to the tournament itself, and it's a really cool system he has going with his ladder system. So basically, if you ever wanted to get into tournaments, have some good fun games on awesome maps with balanced tournament rules, and you're a bit tired of quick battles and people just cheesing, bringing 5 dragons against you and burning your lords before you can literally do anything, he has the perfect system for you. I'll talk about it at the end of the battle, so make sure to stick around for that and how you can get involved in such awesome events. But anyway, let's have a little look at the builds. So for the Skaven is a skirmish heavy force. We have Gutter Runners with Poison teamed up with Night Runners, as well as Skaven Slaves, dotted all the way on in 3 little pacts, in fact. So 1, 2, and 3. They're protected on the wings as well by some Wolf Rats. And it looks like we actually have 4 packs of the Skirmishers, so an insane amount of long-range Pebble flying is going to be happening. We have 3 units of Wolf Rats looking for a bit of protection. These guys are incredibly rapid and do have a pretty decent bite to them as well. The man battle line, of course, is going to have to be incredibly cheap and cheerful because all his money is spelt elsewhere. We have 2 units of Clan Rats as well as the Clan Vulcan Tail Slashers, their burning swords raised high. And we also have the Pit Fighters of Hell's Deep, regiment of renowned Rat Ogres, who do go absolutely berserk at the smell of blood and fury, giving them some lovely physical resistance and better attack prospects. Leading the forces today of this mad build is indeed the Mad Lord himself, Itic Claw, on his best mount in my opinion. Not saying it's the best mount competitively, but it looks so cool, just having a whale of a time, pumping his fist into the air. He's going to be bringing Storm Demon, Unlimited Power, Brass Orb, Scorch, Death Frenzy, as well as Howling Warp Gale. So very wide range of spells throughout, should be good for multiple different opponents. Now for the Vampires, of course, in the front line we have the very unhappy zombie pirate deck cam mobs. They have been resurrected and brought back to life simply to die. So they're going to be a suicide meat shield, allowing the bombers in the secondary line to Kobe some shots over top and do some lovely damage, and we actually have 1, 2, 3, 4 units of them, which is pretty scary stuff. In the back we do have Triple Mortar, which is going to be raining fire from above, and they're protected by double Sirens. These ethereal ladies will be a menace in the night to this Skaven build who does lack that magic damage, with zombie pirate deck cam mobs as well. On the back left hand side we have double Scurvy Dogs, who are certainly going to have their work cut out for them. So only on the right hand side, looks like another 2 here. So 4 Scurvy Dogs. They have a lot of skirmishers to shut down, however, who are protected by some oversized rats. Leading the forces today, it looks like we have a little Vampire Fleet Admiral of Vampires. Something you don't get to see terribly often, but certainly going for a cheap option. She actually looks incredibly gangster and badass with that cutlass drawn. She's going to be coming in with the, oh god, I'm not going to say that word, Black Parapet is what we're going to be calling it. Invocation of the Heck as well as Drown Dead. So nice, cheap, pretty simple stuff. We also have a big fat rotten Leviathan in the central pocket. Looking gross and disgusting. Zoidberg really has let himself go in recent years. Both forces are now going to be advancing. You can see the mortars do strike at the Night Runners. However, these Skaven are, of course, in a skirmish formation, which means they are rather loose, not tightly compact. And tightly compact is where the mortars really shine. But still, there is a lot of mortar shots coming in, so some of them are certainly going to make some glorious impact, bombing and exploding Night Runners here. Not having the best day so far. Gut Runners, of course, do have stalks. They currently aren't spotted. They actually have a really nifty ability as well called Snare Net, which slows down the target, lowers charge speed and speed of nearby troops, makes them really hard to catch. Itic Claw does blast a shot going through both the Rotten Leviathan as well as the bombers, doing some really nice work. And on this right hand side, double Wolf Rats are committing to the fight straight away, trying to hunt down those Scurvy Dogs. Not a bad idea if they can get them off the field early on. These Wolf Rats have been chevroned up as well, which will help them. But the bombers are turning to engage. Gutter Runners unleashing just Pebble after Pebble, really trying to drag down the Scurvy Dogs where possible. The bombers in huge friendly fire as well as deadly fire to the enemy. But if he loses these Scurvy Dogs, that is his best kind of form of attack on dealing with this Skaven build. So he needs to protect them at all costs. Pit Fighters just ramrod their way through the front line, looking to push back onto the bombers, as the front line engagement is a little bit delayed, but that right flank certainly took a beating straight out of the gate. Scurvy Dogs do shut down the Wolf Rats by overwhelming them, but we do have Night Runners here, Gutter Runners, as well as Skaven Slaves, and these guys will be able to pebble and add up shots up against these Scurvy Dogs, who certainly will start to struggle. You see Pebbles flying through the air there, and the Scurvy Dogs taking a bit of a pounding. In the frontline engagement, of course, the Clan Rats have engaged with the enemy. 2 units, unfortunately, have met the Rotten Leviathan. Not a good engagement for them. And this unit of Clan Rats is getting shut down the bombers. But the frontline isn't where the Skaven are going to be able to win this. Pit Fighters of Hell's Deep have taken an absolute pounding. Lovely play here from the Vampire Coast player, pulling in the Sirens to counter-punch those Rat Ogres. They're going to terrify them away and break them off the field, at least for now. We also have a Gunnery Mob summon. And it looks like the Wolf Rats are starting to struggle, and the Mortars are really adding up. All three of them still currently alive and happy. Claw, though, has dug his heels into his motorbike here. Going to start to run over those Mortars where possible, but now he's in a little bit of a rough situation, but it is a trap! Oh, what a beautiful play. Oh my god, that roasted the mortar and the Sirens there. Claw. I need to remember the name of that spell. It's Scorch. Yeah, coming in with a Scorch, baiting in the Sirens to surround them and absolutely annihilating them. In the distance, you can see these Skaven dogs have been pretty much spent at this point. Up to 30 kills only, not too crazy. Hunting down some Knight Runners and really suffering. And now we can see a huge amount of slings still remain on the field, launching shots into the weakened zombies. Pit Fighters of Hell's Deep do charge forward into the deep once more, slaughtering some of these bombers with Warpstone fists, ripping them limb from limb. That tasty rotting flesh is sitting nicely in their stomach, but a beautiful summon here of Gunnery Mobs. We have two either side doing some crossfire into these Rat Ogres, who are now falling to the last Ogre. Certainly not a good day for them, but the Pirates are being forced forward in a desperate attempt to chase down the Slingers, who are simply going to be kiting. We can see the Deckhand Mobs taking huge damage. I mean, honestly, at this point, the Skaven Slaves could just hop into combat and finish these guys off, and the Bombers have just had that done to them as well. Gutter Runners launching into a trap formation. Royal Leviathan desperately trying to push its way through to assist where it can, as it has been hunted down by the Clan Vulcan Tail Slashers for now. And it is still very healthy and scary, so if it can waste the ammunition on all these other units, as we can see, a few of them are getting a little bit low, perhaps there is hope yet for the Pirates. These Deckhand Mobs are getting destroyed, and the Bombers unleashing hell upon friend and foe. Normally that's a good thing, but in this situation where their enemy don't really have much of a front line, it's not actually working in their favour. Gutter Runners have now managed to shut down some Bombers in hand-to-hand combat. Claw looks like he managed to finish off those Sirens and is now bouncing between the Mortars, looking to shut them down. He's had a really fantastic game so far, up to 63 kills, already at 1.6 damage dealt, and look at him go. He's so badass on this mount, the I've got the name of Doomflayer, there we go, the little Doomflayer, which is certainly the best looking mount for Claw, though I would say his Doomwheel is probably a little bit better. But it looks like he does manage to start to make these mortars crumble, and there's now a load of slinger pressure coming in. Some halberdiers or polearms have managed to come over to try to surround Claw, but he's simply going to cackle and roll away, pulling away from these guys before allowing Gutter Runners as well as Skaven Slave Slingers to help finish these guys off. And it looks like there is only one mortar remaining at this point, with Bombers being shut down all over the field. Now, here's a question for you guys. How many Pebbles does it take to kill a Rotten Leviathan? Because it looks like we are going to find out. We have so many Pebbles, Night Runners, Skaven Slaves, all launching shots after the Rotten Leviathan, and a big shot coming down range by Claw completely misses and nearly goes through some of his own troops. But the early one did hit 2 units, so you can't complain too much. Vampire Fleet Admiral once again overcasts a summon to bring up some more Gunnery Mobs, who do come into this world screaming and kicking, firing shots into the Night Runners, doing some really lovely damage, managing to force those guys free. Balance power in that moment, though, is currently in favour of the Skaven, as it looks like this other mortar will get shut down. The polearms are simply too slow to get in and protect it, although they actually may have switched targets to them now. They really want to target this mortar, force it off the field. Royal Leviathan is down about a quarter of its health at this point, but its leadership is relatively low, being completely surrounded by Gutter Runners. Death Frenzy has been popped on them as well, turning them into lawnmower killing machines and giving them that immune to psychology, which is a really nice pick. And you can see it's been upgraded to be area of effect. It allows them to pin in the Rotten Leviathan, as well as do some more damage to it, but also the Pebbles now can fly. It looks like we have another Scorch going down, doing some pretty decent damage. This time it was dodged a little bit better by the Vampirates, and the Gutter Runners will be forced to go into hand-to-hand combat, whipping out their awesome little Wolverine claws to do their best. They won't fare too terribly up against cheap and cheerful units such as these polearms. It looks like an Invocation Heck has been popped down the Royal Leviathan, and the only real play here for the Vampires is simply to heal this bad boy up, keep him fighting for as long as possible and try to waste the ammunition, but there's still plenty left on the field from the Rats, as a Brass Orb does go down, at least distracting these Gunnery Mobs a little while. It seems to kind of drag you in, stopping them from firing. Somehow the Clan Vulcan Tail Slashers are still slashing and hacking, not doing a terrible job whatsoever here. These guys do actually come in with fire resistance, which is pretty funny. But the Royal Leviathan, yeah, not having the best of days, just being launched out. I'd love to see how much damage it took overall, because of course it did get some Invocation Hex as well. Claw has unlimited power popped, but the unlimited power shall not save him from the Leviathan, and he is forced back. Best to keep him just at arm's length for now, allow the rest of the troops to deal with the Royal Leviathan before then cycle charging in to deal with the enemy characters all round. It looks like the last of the polearms are soaking up some missile pressure, and now the Leviathan does stand alone. we are going to be getting... Oh no, it looks like we're getting another Death Frenzy. Beautiful play by the Skaven player with these Death Frenzies. Up in the base, weapon damage, melee attack, and the immune to psychology is huge here. They're all relatively low on leadership at this point, and of course the Leviathan causes terror, as you'd expect. Is a very angry beastie, but it's having a bad day. Not been able to terrify these brave rats away, although it is snapping a few of them up, and it looks like he is going to be devouring one into the void of its stomach. Not a good day for that little rat. But the rest of these guys in the distance are having a beautiful time. Pebbles going all over the place, although now that Death Frenzy has worn off, you can see the problems that it does cause not having that spell. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 units all running in terror. That is not good stuff for them whatsoever. They're all routing and running for the hills. Rotten Leviathan still going strong, 2,550 HP, up to 120 kills, and the ammunition starting to finally wane. Skaven Slayers won't be doing too much damage. Of course, we do have some Night Runners as well as Gutter Runners, but it looks like for the most part, the more expensive units have run out of ammunition. He does have a few that he did commit to the fight, though, the Gutter Runners here, who can now sit back and shoot. And I still think it's relatively comfortable here for the force of the Skaven, but maybe the Leviathan and Vampire Fleet Admiral combination will be able to seal the deal. It looks like she's trying to get some more Winds of Magic to heal up her Leviathan buddy once more. His leadership needs to hold, though. If he starts crumbling, he will go down far, far too quickly, and there's a lot of pressure on him at this point, and Itikalor is just popping unlimited power once more, vibing in the back, although it looks like he took a long-range shot there, maybe from the Vampire Fleet captain. Does she have a pistol? She does indeed. He's now going to be rolling it back towards the main engagement, getting a little bit close for comfort perhaps, but once again coming down with yet another upgraded Death Frenzy, given that immune psychology. Royal Leviathan is now minus 36 leadership, starting to crumble into dust and nothingness, and down the mighty beast shall fall. Not before clobbering 1 or 2 more rats, though. Down to about 700 health at this point. He definitely wants to get his stomach filled with rats today. Just bounding and bouncing through the formation, desperately trying to lash out and find a way to escape, falling back to its base instincts. But down to 400 health, minus 27 leadership, you're not going to be lasting too much longer, buddy. And with him going down, the balance power will surely ebb and flow in favour of the forces of Skaven, even more forcing army losses. The Vampire Fleet Admiral is simply too outnumbered. It's currently 2 versus 679 rats. That is absolutely disgusting stuff. And down the beast does fall. It was not the weapons that killed the beast, it was beauty of the Skaven slaves which killed it. It fell in love, couldn't kill them, and died. Unfortunately, Vampire Fleet Admiral just kind of vibing now, desperately trying to chase back Gutter Runners and Skaven Slaves, but at this point, there's simply nothing the poor player can do at this point, because army losses will kick in as soon as a few more bolts and shots do come in. Slowly chugging down the health there, down to about 1,300. Getting in some last kills though, going down, hacking and slashing like any good pirate should do. And yeah, these are only Skaven Slaves, but imagine being dragged down by just an unending horde of gigantic rats pincing and biting at your legs. It'd be a horrible way to go. But I'm sure she's an evil vampire. She probably deserves this end. 120 negative leadership isn't a good sign. And there she does go. What a game. Insane stuff by the Skaven player. I absolutely adore the build. A very Pyrrhic victory. He lost almost... Oh, no, didn't lose all his troops. Lost all his ammunition. And then a lot of his troops from that point onwards are pretty useless. But the RTK maker himself, who's a very good player, but a good tournament player as well, did make the Platypus work for it really hard. And I think... actually, I won't spoil it, because this, I believe, was a best of 3 from the tournament. So I won't spoil it in case it was live streamed as well. But very well played to these two true champs. Before we go through the damage value stats, as well as talk a little bit more about Anticity's bot ladder system, which is so cool, by the way. I can't praise it high enough. If you guys did enjoy, feel free to give the video a big old thumbs up and subscribe to the channel for more Total War Warhammer content. We drop new content every single day. If you'd like to see your replays up on the channel, you can submit them via my Discord. Please don't do it via email. I've had a few people recently email me about them. Do it via Discord. There's a link down below. It's just much easier for me to organise. Down below there's also links to my Patreon. You can become a member of the YouTube channel, all that good standard YouTube stuff to help support us out. But anyway, as for the builds, RTK Maker coming in with the glorious Vampire Fleet Admiral with the pistol. Doing a pretty decent job as well with 1,496 damage value. Is certainly not too shabby, especially because considering her main job was to get raised dead and Invocation the Hex, all that good stuff. Frontline is simply there to die and allow the bombers to get some good value, although some of the bombers did pretty well, others did struggle quite heavily due to the sheer pressure from the long-range Skaven force, and the Sirens as well. I really like the pick. They're actually perfect here because they can take a lot of the damage from the Slingers and Death Runners without, you know, being too worried about all those pebbles coming at them. But unfortunately for them, the Platypus was on point with his magic play and Ittic Claw, which really did shut them down. Scurvy Dogs as well simply got swarmed and overwhelmed. Now, the mortars got okay value, nothing too good. I mean, 500, 300, and 400. Yeah, not too good at all, actually, on the mortar's behalf. But the Rotting Leviathan going up a chevron, 1,299 damage value, 10k damage dealt, a real linebacker holding the Vampire Coast forces together in the middle and later stages of the game. As for the mighty Platypus, Ittic Claw coming in on my, as I've said like 3 or 4 times, but it's so cool, his little awesome little mount there. 87 kills, 11,000 damage dealt, 1,799 damage value, but more importantly, getting rid of those sirens was an absolute must. He recognised the threat early on and baited them into a little charge. Clan Rats did pretty good as well across the board, I suppose. They were simply there to die, but they did that job rather well. And then you see all the Skaven slaves and all the slingers performed pretty admirably, getting most of their value through. Nearly 1,000 damage value on this unit of Gutter Runners, 800 on this second one, as well as 500 on the third, real linebackers. And the Wolf Rats were kind of sacrificed into the maw in an effort to deal with whatever the Maker could bring to the force to counter the Skaven. And that, of course, was the Scurvy Dogs and these mortars. Pitfires of Hell's Deep struggled a little bit. They did come back in the late game and got some pretty key kills, helping shut down one of the mortars. But yeah, they struggled. But still, getting 69 kills, yeah, can never be too mad with the champs. So guys, so Inticity, the mighty legendary warrior, you've probably seen him on the channel before, really good tournament player, super cool dude as well, has created his own ladder system. So currently, quick battles, when you hop on into them, there are literally no rules. It is the Wild West. You'll be given a map. It may be a terrible map, maybe a good map, and it's just a simple best of one. Your opponent can quick lock factions. It's not that fun necessarily, or certainly not most people's things. So what you can do now, you can join my Discord and then join Inticity's Discord, because the bot operates in both of them, and you'll find a link as well to Inticity's Discord in my one. And when you hop on there, you simply, there's a load of instructions, but basically you do a command Q, which I believe is like !P or something for play, or Q for queuing up. It'll queue you up then into the system. There's always quite a few people playing, so then it will pair you with someone, hopefully of equal skill. It may take you a few games first before it sorts out your elo and all that good stuff. And then when you're playing up against people of equal skill, it will give you 3 maps, tell you who picks and bans first, and you basically play it as if it is a tournament. There's also really good incentive, because the top, I believe, 10 players, or something along those lines, at the end of every week get invited to a tournament with a prize and all that kind of cool stuff, hosted over on Inticity's Twitch and YouTube channels. So I highly recommend going checking them out. So honestly, it's a super cool idea he's done, and it's something that I honestly think Total War Warhammer 3 should kind of steal the idea from going into the future onto how they do multiplayer. So if you ever see him in ladder or anything like that, say hello to him and feel free to hop onto it. It's a really cool system, and there'll be a link down below as well to the tournament he had showing the top 10 players from that ladder. But anyway guys, until next time, peace, and as always, stay awesome.